Okay, good day everyone and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be discussing One Piece chapter 1018 which came out today. So of course, spoiler warning. Um so yeah, this title is chapter basically or titled what the chapter is basically about being Jinbei versus Huzu. Of course, we have a interesting cover page. It's a request, but it's basically page one trying to read a book about dinosaurs with Ulti disturbing him to come and play with him, with her and her stuffed toys, of course, or her plushies. And we see that all her plushies are basically the dinosaurs that each of the um members of the group are. Then basically Toby, Ropo, and Jack, King, Queen, and Kaido, of course, because we see if you look at the top, there's a dragon, there's a petrodon, there's a brachiosaur, there's a spider, there's a saber-tooth, there's a allosaurus, there's a mammoth, there's a triceratops. So again, the other headliners, or not headliners, but the Toby Ropo and the Calamities, basically their dinos, and of course Ulti being um, the I forgot the name of her dinosaur, and page one of course being a Spinosaur. So yeah, basically the chapter starts off now, and we see that Tama has swayed, or not swayed, but the people that she gave her Dango to have switched sides. They have listened to her orders, and they're attacking their fellow crewmates. However, we get something interesting, and that is some of the these pirates after her now because they said she used some weird magic. But they did ask a question. They said, if we kill her, will this be undone? And that is an interesting question because it seems if she sleeps, it doesn't wear off. If she's knocked out, it doesn't wear out. So will it, or will the ability be cancelled if she dies? That's an interesting question that we need an answer to. And they're running away, and they're saved by Daifugo. And aside from that, we see Speed there. She rescues them, so they get on her back to run away. And Gazelle Man says they look after Komachio. And we see Usopp jump on Speed's back, and they take off to safety. We then see that Nami is having a conversation, and she says basically with Tama, of course, and she says that your power is remarkable. And Usopp says, yes, that is true. It's very hard to make friends on a battlefield. And then Zeus pops out, and Zeus is like, can I be your servant? And Nami is like, how about you be my sidekick instead? In the unofficial translation, I believe she says, be my partner instead. But yeah, so basically, I think they have a better relationship now. And Zeus is running around now telling everyone to get out of the way. He's Nami's sidekick. Um, we then cut to something interesting, and that is CP0 again with the Go board, and they're tallying the results of the men changing sides and whatever like that. And we see they're having a conversation now, and we see the one with the kind of snout mask is saying that basically it doesn't matter which side wins, but they have to confirm one death for sure. And then the next one with the smiley face mask says that someone got away, and basically well, got away from them, and basically it was with old news or old information, so it doesn't really matter. But the one with the snout now says that it doesn't set a good example, and basically that somebody could escape from us and then live to tell the tale. And this is where we get the 12 with the smiley face mask and the other one with the scarf saying that basically we don't really have to worry about that because we're assuming that he's going to survive. Um, and that is because he's fighting Jinbei, so they assume Jinbei is going to kill him in this battle. Um, so yeah, we then cut to the fourth floor, and we see Jinbei versus Who's Who fighting, just like the title said. And Jinbei is asking him why, or well, not really why he bears this grudge, but he's asking him then, so so you bear this grudge against Luffy then. And who's who clarifies, and he says technically the grudge is against Shanks, so we get confirmation that Shanks did steal the fruit from them. But he says, I don't have the grudge against Luffy per se, it's against Shanks. However, Luffy ate the fruit that Shanks stole as well as wears his hat. So it's been passed down to him, so therefore it's only obvious this rage would be pointed at him as well. And then we get Huzu firing off his Fang pistol again, and Jinbei blocks it with his armament, but in doing so he begins to bleed, so we see the Fang pistol is a bit stronger than his armament. Um, and he keeps unloading these Fang pistols on them, and we see the Fang pistols or Fang pistols then burst through from the fourth floor into the third floor, and sadly one of the gifters is hit by it, and we see the Fang grabs his arm, and he's screaming for his arm on the next panel, so it seems like he lost his arm with that Fang pistol. Um, but yeah, they go all out Jinbei and Huzu mentions that Jinbei, for a fishman, um, moves pretty fast on land. And Jinbei says basically, casual racism against fishermen is out of it these days, that not in style. Um, but yeah, they proceed to fight. Who uses more of the moves he uses Iron Body or Tekka. He uses his Fang pistol again, and Jinbei this time, instead of full on blocking it, he counters it. And he does this by first bracing against the tooth, the two saber tooths then. And he grabs them, as we can see, and he uses a new move called Fishman Jiu-Jitsu, low tie shoulder throw, and he slams Huzu into the ground. And then he uses another attack, which is called Water Shot Shave, and he hits Huzu with it and complains that that hurts. But this is where we get another interesting turn of events, I guess, story wise, and that is Huzu begins to ask Jinbei some questions now, and he says that when he was in jail, or prison that is, he was being tortured and all that. But aside from that, while he was being tortured, it had someone down there, and they mentioned the sun god Nika, and that this was someone that the slaves used to pray for in the past, and apparently he was a long, um, not long, but like I would guess maybe long ago, but we don't have an exact time period. But basically, the slaves would pray to this person, or warriors would pray for this person, or to this person, and in the belief that he would free them. And he always had a smile, or would bring smiles to their faces and deliver them from suffering. And we get a little image of what Nika looks like, or the description with a staff, a sword, some hair. But yeah, that's an interesting new thing we learned this time. Um, so he's asking Jinbei if Jinbei knows about that, and he says that he clung to this legend over time because that was all he had, because the person who told him about the legend disappeared one day, or they made him disappear, and that means that he would be next, and in fear of that, he escaped. He risked everything to get away, and here he is today. So we then proceed to him trying to fight more, and they're going head to head, kinda even, and they're talking while they're fighting, of course. And Huzu now says, Jinbei was a member of the Sun Pirates, and fishermen know about slavery because they've been discriminated against. So he wants Jinbei, if Jinbei knows about the legend, to fill him in about it, who this person is. But we don't get any revelations yet. However, Huzu pulls out his armamented up finger to use the finger pistol with his claw out, and he begins attacking Jinbei with his two hands. And it seems Jinbei uses armament on his whole body, because we get a picture of his face being partially dark. So that looks like he's armamented his whole body. And who is going all out again, trying to jab him, and we see the guys looking at it and saying that, Jinbei is getting attacked. Their boss is the strongest Toby Ropo, he's stronger than a warlord. But while doing this, again, more discussion and more him trying to get information out of Jinbei about this Nika person. But we don't get any revelations, sadly. But we notice that while he's using the Fang pistols, for some reason it maybe Jinbei's armament got stronger. While doing this, he made it stronger. We see that who's who while he was doing his pistol jab, both of his fingers snap, they break. Um, and this leads to him yelling out in pain. And when he yells out in pain, Jinbei uses another new move. Um, uses Fisherman Karate shark grip and basically grabs Who's by the wrists on both his arms and he crushes them or snaps them. So essentially breaks Who's both arms. And Who's Who tries to use a Tempest kick, and of course we see Jinbei's face is hacked up again, and it does nothing. So Who's Who goes in for a bite now with Fang Pistol at close range. However, this leads to Jinbei tanking that attack to face on and uses another new Fishman, and this one is Fishman Karate. Um, and Who tries to jump away when Jinbei says Fishman Karate, but Jinbei is smart. He steps on Who's tail so he can't jump away. And this leads to the name of the attack being called Demon Brick Fist. So Fishman Karate, Demon Brick Fist. And basically Jinbei socks him in the face and sends him flying. And Jinbei also tells him, if you're going to run your mouth about history, you need to be ready for what you're stepping into first. Um, so the chapter ends there, and this is a lot of information to process. So we get the revelation of this Nika, a legend, Nika, who was this god figure, I guess, the slaves. We have not heard about this person before, to my knowledge of from reading One Piece so many years. I don't think we've ever been mentioned or been. This has never been mentioned, basically. Also, CP0 wants him dead, so I don't think Who is going to die. However, the fact that Who has this hate for Shanks and Luffy, I can see at the end of this arc maybe Who changing sides and joining the Grand Fleet, and it's far fetched, but also he has inside information on the government. So I can see him and Jinbei kinda after the battle, kinda, after this big war sitting down, maybe learning the legend there, speaking about it, and then joining Luffy's crew. Well, not crew, but his Grand Fleet. That's just my opinions and what I think would come from how they have been positioned in it, kinda. So yeah, all in all, a fight chapter, and also we need to know the limits of Tama's Dango ability. Again, we heard them ask in this chapter, if she dies, does it wear out or does it not? Because we know again, if she sleeps, it doesn't wear out. If she is knocked out, it doesn't wear out. So, what is the upper limit then of this ability? Where does it end? I guess, because, or how does it end then? If not where, but how does it end? Does she have to say, "I release my control over you," and then poof, it's gone? So yeah, all in all, good chapter. I enjoyed the fight. I enjoyed seeing Jinbei's new moves because we haven't seen Jinbei use some new moves in a while. Or go all out in a fight, and we get confirmation he can do full body armament as we saw here. So yeah, all in all, good chapter. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your theories down below. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.